Hey guys, it's your girl Taylor, professional caricature artist and lover of theater. I've decided to try something a little different, so I sat down with a few performing artists and had conversations about their shows and projects. This is Drawing Conclusions. I went to the Costa Mesa Civic Playhouse to sit down and chat with the cast of Next to Normal, playing from August 17th to September 16th. Today I'm talking to
My name is Trevor. I will be playing Henry.
Henry. And can you tell me a little bit about Henry?
Well, he's a stoner.
Oh, okay. Right off the
First
bat.
and foremost. He's a good dude, you know? He, in my humble opinion, is kind of a lot of the hope of the show, or a beacon of hope throughout the show, because there's a lot of heavy aspects of the show. It's a very heavy show, and Henry is kind of the one person that is not burdened with trauma and tragedy that can help
Kind of bring balance to all the other chaos.
Natalie's character is so, wrought with tragedy and trauma in her life, and Henry is this person who, he's a stoner, so he's like he's got his own
maybe a different perspective.
set of vibes, yeah. So I think he brings a hope of a new life for Natalie.
Can you tell me a little bit about Henry's relationship to the other characters in the show?
Yeah. Henry doesn't really interact that much with anyone else for the most part. There is a moment where the family has dinner together. Henry, Natalie, Dan, and Diana. We don't have much dialogue between one another, but we do, sing about getting ready to have dinner. And then things take a turn. We don't have dinner. I'm very disappointed personally about not eating. But that's probably the most interaction Henry has with anyone besides Natalie.
Right.
Yeah, almost all of Henry's interaction is with Natalie. There's a moment where Diana, later in Act 2, recognizes him as someone else, not necessarily Henry. He reminds her of someone. But that's about it.
What would you say is your favorite part about playing this role?
Well, I have actually wanted to play this role since I was probably 16 or 17. I saw the show on Broadway, fell in love with it instantly, and wanted to play Henry ever since then.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But a specific moment in the show is what you're referring to?
Well, yeah, why did this character, when you saw the show when you were 16, why did
when I
stand
saw
out?
it, this one stood out to me pretty much for the reason I told you earlier, how he is I've always viewed him as the beacon of hope through the show. He is the hope for a new life for at least Natalie. Dan and Diana are already on their path and their lot in life, but Natalie is in high school and she still has the world, and Henry pretty much promises this some kind of stability for her. And so that spoke to me as a 16-year-old.
So what do you think is the most challenging part about playing this role?
The music.
The music.
Yeah.
That is
that is a common thread.
Yes.
Yeah, it's tough. They did not hold back, the composers. I knew Henry's solo stuff before coming into it because of the soundtrack, singing. And you can sing it in your car. So I knew that stuff by and large, but there's a lot more because it's only a cast of 6 actors, so there's a lot more choral arrangements than you would think. There are many songs that I didn't know Henry was singing off stage or in the background of until you get the score and you see there are all of these notes that I have to hit that I did not know about until
because it is such a small cast.
Yeah, and that and So just learn, and it's, you know, you get all of this stuff new, and it's very challenging, very well written
Yeah.
musically, because it is so demanding on the talent. Can't even say actors, because you have to be real musicians to sing, and you know, even our band, you have to be real musicians to do any of this music.
So you actually get to perform with live music.
Yes,
That's really cool.
We'll have a band.
That's always
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not something you find too often with community theater. That must be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is. It's a huge help too.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine not having a band, either having to perform with either a recording or you know, maybe just a piano. I'm sure it's possible, and because people do it all the time, but it would be very difficult. You
refer to Henry as a beacon of hope. Do you think that's more for like Natalie or for all the characters that you see in general for the show?
Directly, Natalie. I think indirectly, it could be for anyone involved in Natalie's life. Yeah. So, you know how one person's change affects another person, and you are, you know, a lot of people will say you are a combination of like the 5 people you spend the most amount of time with. Oh, definitely. You know, so I think he would have a positive influence on Natalie, first of all, and then she can in turn
take that and other aspects of her life.
Spread the light.
Is this the first time that you've done a show at the Costa Mesa Playhouse?
Yes. I actually live in Los Angeles.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So commuting. Yeah.
What drew you to the theater?
The show.
Just the show?
Yeah. 2018 rolled around, and I set a list of to-dos for myself, and I actually haven't done any theater in many years, and I Googled theaters doing Next to Normal, and this one popped up, and there was an audition. I think it was maybe a month before auditions, and I was like, I'm going to go. I was like, I have no idea if I had no like hopes on being cast, or I was totally fine with, you know, whatever happened. I was like, I'm just gonna go and give it my all, and whatever happens is fine.
Do you have a favorite moment in the show? Something that whether you're doing it or somebody else in the show, that you look forward to sharing with an audience?
I love the whole show.
It's hard to choose.
Yeah, it is very hard to choose.
When you do genuinely love you sought this show out.
Yeah, it is hard to choose. Because I do love every moment equally. But I think the finale is probably one of my favorite moments. Because it was definitely, at least, I had seen the tour after I saw it on Broadway, and it's a moment that is always, every time you see it, just kind of strikes a chord, hits you right in the feels, and I'm hoping we can accomplish the same thing.
How about more specifically, something that you want an audience to take away from the show?
I don't know how to answer that without sounding super cheap and cheesy and lame.
Cheap and cheesy.
Well, because I don't want to. The show is very intense and deals with a lot of serious, heavy subject matter, and you never want to downplay anybody's experiences or troubles or anything. But I like how light and the ending of the show. I don't want to give away, anything, but I like how it pretty much gets to everything. So many bad things can be happening in your life, yet there is always a reason to find the light and find the joy and find the silver lining, I guess. Yeah. Even if you're... one of my favorite moments that Diana actually says is you find out you don't have to be happy at all to be happy you're alive. And a lot of people that are dealing with, suicide or mental illness or, any of the topics that are dealt with have troubles being happy to be alive, period, because they're not happy, So I think it's a nice way to look at, fighting mental illness.
Yeah.
Trying to find the silver lining.
Do you want to tell people where they can come see you in the show?
The show is at the Costa Mesa Playhouse, which is on 661 Hamilton Street.
Oh.
Hamilton Way, something.
Yeah.
Costa Mesa, California. Put it into my GPS all the time, so I know. Couldn't tell you the zip code, though. And you can also find tickets online, costamesaplayhouse.org. I'm 99.9% certain.
We are too. All right, there you go.
Ah, yay! Thank you.
Yay.
I love it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cool.
This has been Drawing Conclusions. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Have you drawn your own conclusions? Tell us in the comments below. And don't forget, get out there and draw something. See you next time.